All right, I'm Miles Dolan. I'm here. I'm going to be analyzing Jonah. And Jonah, there's a couple things that we could do. There's a lot of different things, we could focus on, but I really like to focus on one thing and have you get better at that because a habit truly takes at least 3 to 4 weeks to ingrain. And if you're focused on 5 or 6 things, usually none of them get ingrained as habits. And so, um, I like to pick one thing out that's really going to have the most bang for our buck and then really focus on that. And so everything we do is aimed at getting everything going in a straight line back to the pitcher because that's where the ball's coming from. And the flatter we can stay through the zone in a straight line, the longer our barrel is going to be in the zone and the better chance we have of hitting the ball on the barrel, squaring it up. That's our whole goal when we're hitting. So moving forward, we'll just watch in real speed. And so it's really hard sometimes as an instructor in real speed to really have a clear idea on what you need to attack. And so I looked at it in real speed, and honestly, I wasn't sure. But when I slowed it down and watched the video, I really got a good idea what we can do, and I truly believe we can. Just by a few things, you can definitely get really improve. And so, if you notice, that was me on the left, and I'm going to tell you about this later, but this is a drill that I really think could help you. So going forward here, we'll just put it in slow-mo. And so there, we start out with your stance right here, and now we have the load. So we have the stride and the load. You get your weight back on your back knee, and we go ahead and stride out. And so on stride foot landing, right here, that's the position that really matters. And that's what is really important when we're hitting. Nothing really matters. That's why you see hitters in the major leagues have all different types of stances and setups. But if you've ever watched video, when they get their stride foot to the ground, they're all in about the same spot. And what is that spot? They have some flex on their back knee, okay? Talking about right here, and you have that. There's some other things that they do. Their knob is generally pointed in the direction of their back foot. And so if not, it's pointed a little bit farther back. So you watch my hands, they're a little bit farther back, but still in a good spot. If you watch your hands right there, the knob of the bat is kind of pointed straight out to whoever's watching this. And so what happens is, in an effort to get power, a lot of times you'll get your hands away from your body during your load. So when you go to attack the baseball, let's watch this. Okay, you have a more of a circular path to the ball. So you're in the zone and you're out of the zone quickly. And it's very common. But as you move up in levels and as the pitchers throw harder, you're not going to be able to get to a good fastball hitting like this. So really, truly, the most important position is hitting is you want the shaft of the bat tight to the back shoulder as you're going forward. So you watch on the left here. Watch me right here. We'll slide it forward. Okay, I went a little bit too fast there, but watch this. We'll go slow-mo right there. And if you see, it's kind of a blur, but the shaft of the bat is really tight to the back shoulder. Now we come back here, and you talk about the distance, okay, from one to the other. We got a lot of separation there from your bat to your back shoulder. So what this means is you're not in a very powerful position. So you're not going to be able to deliver much bat speed, and you're going to be more rotational. So your bat's going to be in the zone and it's going to be out of the zone quickly. And you're not going to be able to get to a good fastball because you're coming around the ball. So we watch right here. We'll watch the path of the bat. You see your barrel is all the way out here, okay, instead of a little bit tighter like we see in this position, a little tighter through the baseball, okay? And And that may all sound confusing to you, but what that really means is we just got to get your shaft of the bat tighter to the back shoulder. And that's the main thing. And if you can get that better, you're going to improve dramatically. There's no doubt. And that's not an easy task because you've been swinging that way for a while. But to really move up and advance and get to the higher levels of baseball, this is something that's really, really important for you to do. So how can we do this? Okay, and you watch on the left. Okay, there are some drills that you can do that are very important to do that will really help you in this. And first of all, before I forget, we want to have our toes pointing straight ahead. I noticed when you start, I looked at some of the other swings you had, and if you look, your back toe is pointing out. It's not pointing straight ahead. And your front toe is pointing out a little bit. It's not pointing straight ahead. So what this does, anytime you have more variables, like your feet are pointing in or out a little bit, it makes everything harder to get in a straight line. And what I found with a lot of hitters is your barrel doesn't stay in the zone long, giving you less margin for error. So first of all, and John's gonna take you every swing. You have to remind him. I've used this with one of my players, and I'd have to remind him every swing, because every swing he'd start out with his feet pointing a little bit out, because that's the habit that he's gotten into. So it takes time to get out of that habit. So every swing, it's important, Jonah, for you to remember to get your toe to check your toes, make sure they're pointing straight ahead, and not your toes aren't pointing out, because that's gonna really affect you and not allow you to get in good alignment. So toes straight ahead. Check yourself every time before you start swinging. That would be the number one thing. And the other thing that we really need to work on is this inside out tee right here. So my point is, this is me on the left, and you set the pitch up like it's an inside pitch, and that's what I've done right here. And I'm actually going to try to hit the ball to right center as a right-hander. You say, why would you try to hit an inside pitch to right center? Well, that's going to force me to keep the shaft of my bat really tight to my back shoulder for as long as possible. And I like to call it an imaginary track. So you have an imaginary track that your hand should go in no matter what pitch it is, inside, middle, or out. And so if you keep the bat in this track, the inside pitch you're going to make contact with farther out in front, the middle pitch right in the middle, and the away pitch a little bit deeper. So, but you're always in that track, and right now you're outside of that track. So we want to stay tight. So you watch my hands coming through. I'm going to stay tight, tight, tight. And this is a hard drill to do. Sometimes you're going to get jammed, and sometimes you're going to roll over. But we have to create that track to where our hands are so tight you can hit the ball to right center, line drive, even though the pitch is set up as an inside pitch. So right here, if you notice what I'm doing, my hands are really tight, and I stayed through it a long time. And I was able to really get through the baseball and hit it to right center, even though the pitch was set up as an inside pitch. And that's hard to do. And if you've ever seen Derek Jeter hit, that's what he consistently does. And he stays really tight, and he lets the ball get deep. And not just letting the ball get deep, but just getting that feeling of keeping your hands really tight is going to allow you to hit all kinds of pitches. So that's what we got to work on. It's not going to be easy, but through repetition, focusing on what you're doing, it really can be done. I promise you. I promise you. And you're going to find if you do this, your bat speed is going to be a lot better, and you're going to hit the ball on the barrel a lot more. And so a lot of times coaches will talk about pulling out or pulling your head or things like that, but those are really just a result of the foundation of how you start. So all those things are a result because your swing is starting out rotational, so it looks like you're pulling out your head, but that's just a result of you not keeping the shaft of your bat tight to the back shoulder and what people say getting long, and that's what you're doing right now. So we're getting too much separation, and we just got to get tighter, man. And so you can do it and work on this, getting your feet straight and the inside out tee. And if you're doing it right, you're going to get jammed from time to time. If you're doing it wrong, you're going to be hooking ground balls to short and third, and that's what we don't want during this drill. So let's work on that drill over and over and over, and it's going to be a little frustrating, but if you can feel that tightness and letting the ball and getting your hands really tight to your body and staying in that imaginary track, trying to hit line drives to right center off the tee. And once you get a little better at this off the tee, you can actually do this off a front toss too. So work on that, and that's going to clean up your swing dramatically.